It's a two-part investigation section. Isn't that strange?
It's past 9 p.m. already, isn't it? I wonder if Mr. Edgeworth has already found Mystic Maya.
These things take time. I'd say probably not. The police are professionals, Pearls. They'll find her, so don't you worry. And if we can win a not guilty verdict tomorrow, then everything will be okay.
You're right.
So, the real person who killed Mr. Kurita was...
That assassin, Mr. Shelly De Killer, right?
And the card Miss Andrews found at the scene of the crime seems to be proof of that. But if that's the case, then a new question comes to mind. Who was the one that hired De Killer to begin with? Who was his client?
You mean, who asked for the murder?
That person didn't want to dirty their hands in blood. But whoever this client is, they're still a killer.
Who could have hired the assassin? Do you think it was Miss Andrews?
I wonder. But if she was the client, then why go for the effort to stab the knife into the corpse herself?
But if Miss Andrews wasn't the client, then no, it can't be.
Not Engard himself?
If Mr. Engard really did hire the assassin,
then he's not innocent at all. Far from it, he would be guilty of the crime.
But it can't be Mr. Engard, right? I mean, when we first talked with him...
I didn't see any Cyclops at that time. Actually, that reminds me.
Did you remember something, Mr. Nick?
Yeah, something Miss Andrews said at the trial today. She said something interesting.
So what is this interesting thing?
Oh, that's right. You didn't hear it, did you, Pearls?
Mr. Engard's secret? What is his secret?
I don't know yet. But for now, let's think about it this way. Mr. Kurita was going to reveal this secret. That means Mr. Engard had plenty of motive to have Mr. Kurita silenced. Which means we have to meet with Mr. Engard. There's no way around it now.
Wow, it's really getting late, isn't it, Mr. Nick?
Yeah, it's past 9 p.m. already. But we still have some things to prepare for tomorrow's trial. There's still the matter of the secret Mr. Kurita held about Mr. Engard, and Miss Andrews' real intentions. Those are two things I have to know tonight.
But aren't visiting hours over at the detention center?
I'm sure we'll think of something, Pearls. Don't you worry. Hey, wait!
What is it, whippersnapper? All I know is nothing that has anything to do with you is ever good. Like just now, I was handed this strange device for who knows what reason, and I was told to use it to search the whole hotel.
That's the bug sweeper, isn't it? The one Gumshoe made?
I don't know, and frankly, I don't care, but the request came from Edgepoo, so...
Edgeworth?
And he said... If you feel angry, direct your anger at that unsophisticated lawyer. So I'm going to feel free to direct all of my anger towards you.
Gee, thanks a bundle, Edgeworth. What a pal you are.
is absolutely top secret, so you had better keep it to yourselves. I heard they found a spy camera hidden in one of the presents.
Very interesting.
I'm sure it was, you know. It was to catch poor Juan in the middle of a scandalous meeting.
Scandalous? What's that?
It means, well, you know, that gossip that's been going around about my dear Juan.
Oh, you mean that thing about Miss Andrews. But I'm sure she must have had some reason for getting close to Miss Kurita.
I'll let you in on another secret, young'un. I know who planted that spy camera. It was that obnoxious, puffy-haired photographer girl. The nerve of some people. Spying on people by herself, as if I wouldn't want to see it for myself, too.
Wow, the alien actually admitted her true intentions for a change.
I don't know what you're thinking exactly, but I can bet it's nothing good.
But I didn't say anything.
So you want to know about Juan and that manager, right? Actually, as I hear it, they were something of a refreshing pair, those two.
Oh?
I tell you, Juan really welcomed that manager with open arms, I heard.
That manager? Who are you talking about?
You don't know? That manager woman Juan had. Juan. It's a shame she killed herself, though.
Oh, you're talking about Miss Celeste Impax. Miss Andrews' mentor, right?
Yes, that's the one. That Celeste girl. She was supposed to get married, you know.
Married? You mean to Mr. Kurita?
Huh, really, you young kids today don't know anything, do you? That girl Celeste killed herself 3 days after their marriage announcement.
3 days after their marriage announcement? What in the...
Why would Miss Impax want to kill herself? She was going to get married.
Well, that's because she was thrown away, you see, by Juan.
What?
But they were going to get married, right? They promised each other, right?
They held a grand announcement session, but 3 days later, Juan suddenly cancelled their marriage.
Is that true?
It was in the weekly magazines.
But why? Why did he do that?
That was not in the magazines, unfortunately.
I see.
That night after Juan called off the wedding, that manager, Celeste, killed herself.
How terrible.
I wonder what happened between those two.
I don't have anything to say to delinquents like you.
She's clamming up like the old clam she is.
Please, anything would be helpful.
Well, then how about I tell you my measurements?
I think we already saw this one. No, that's okay, really.
She really doesn't like you, does she, Mr. Nick?
I know. Well, we have that fort anyway. On that night, there must have been at least a few hundred people here. I guess the police are done with their questioning and investigating. It looks like things here in the lobby have finally calmed down.
It doesn't look like Mr. Scruffy Detective is here.
Well, he's out there with that camera asking around at all the electronics stores.
Then I'll make some salad for him for dinner.
It looks like Pearls really appreciates what Gumshoe was doing for us.
Mr. Nick?
Yes?
Where's the lettuce?
I don't think I've ever bought lettuce before.
Oh, I guess I have to give up on making a salad then.
I guess the lack of lettuce is kind of a problem. Phoenix is apparently a hilarious carnival. he likes chicken sandwiches, so he likes bread. Visiting hours ended a few hours ago. Looks like we're not going to get a chance to talk with Mr. Engard tonight.
But isn't what we have to ask very important?
Yeah, but I don't think that matters to the guard. Hey, guard. You're gonna be there the next several years. Sucks.
It feels sort of tense in here, doesn't it, Mr. Nick?
Yeah, it does. I wonder if something happened. You're Mr. Engard's lawyer, right? I don't think the chief ever got a voice before, but there it is now. Ah, yes, sir. Well, we finally found just the person we've been looking for. A real decisive witness. A decisive witness? You mean for Mr. Engard's case? We're taking the witness's statement down right now. Gotta hand it to Mr. Edgeworth. What's Edgeworth up to now?
Who is this witness?
I think you know this person quite well, Mr. Lawyer.
Mr. Nick?
Between the kidnapper's demand and now this, I can't see any way to win here. Oh, yeah, Mr. Edgeworth wanted me to tell you something. He did? Even though visiting hours are long over at the detention center, he wanted me to grant you special permission, so there you go.
Huh?
I've already called them, so they know. Come on, go talk to your heart's content. Thank you very much.
This is such good news, Mr. Nick.
Go talk to your heart's content? It sounds like the police are pretty sure they have tomorrow's trial in the bag. Well, let's do this. I'm sure they must have transferred Miss Andrews here by now. So that means that both Mr. Engard and Miss Andrews are in this detention center. Now then, whose story do I want to hear? Oh, it's you. I'm sorry to be visiting at such a late hour. But there are a few questions I absolutely have to ask you tonight. Me? I thought your client was mad. I'm sure Miss Andrews knows something. She can't be clueless about the secret Mr. Kurita had on Mr. Engard. I'm getting so confused. I'd like to ask you about Madame Engard, if you don't mind. Mr. Wright, you still don't know, do you? The real him, I mean. You seem to bear a lot of resentment towards Mr. Engard. If that's the case, then why did you become his manager? And why would you become intimate with his rival? That has nothing to do with this case. Nothing. Fun. And now everything's going to shit in my nose. About Miss Celeste Impax. I had finally put her death behind me. And now, thanks to you, it's all come back to the surface. I'm sorry. Yes, I was shocked by her suicide. And it's true that when I heard the rumor that Juan was the one who had hidden her suicide note, I began to draw close to him. I wanted to get her suicide note back, and to burn it. You wanted to burn it? But why? I didn't want it to spread like just another piece of gossip. But I never held any murderous intent towards Juan. I would never do something so stupid. The suicide note, huh? I wonder what it said. Why did you try to frame Mr. Engard? That's simple. Because he's the killer, that's why. Isn't it the duty of every good citizen to inform the police?
But there had to be another way.
The police are excellent at doing their job, so they'd figure it out, right? Yes, they're so good they couldn't figure out the real truth behind Celeste's death.
Miss Andrews.
Well, I know you're not the type of person to do something without a reason. So, please, tell me why you did what you did. Revenge.
Huh? Did you say something just now?
A psych-lock, huh? Don't you understand yet? You're not my lawyer. To be honest, you're more like my enemy.
What?
I'm sure I just heard Miss Andrews say revenge. Well, let's get the lay of the land here. Can you please tell me why you framed Mr. Engard for the murder? I've already told you countless times it's because I thought Matt was the killer. No, that's not it. I know you have a personal reason to dislike Mr. Engard. Miss Andrews, you may think I didn't hear it, but I know you said something earlier. You said revenge. So you're saying I was taking my revenge out on Matt, and that's why? What an absolutely absurd idea. I don't have anything I want to take revenge for. Miss Andrews, a woman who lives by being dependent on another person, there is something or someone in her past that would make her take revenge. Celeste? There's only one catalyst that could cause such strong feelings and even revenge, and that is Miss Impax's suicide. What are you trying to say? Celeste was Juan's manager. On top of that, the one who hid her suicide note was also Juan. What does all of this have to do with Matt? You're right. You haven't mentioned him yet, but for you to hate Mr. Engard, it would mean that he must have had some relation to Miss Impax and her suicide. Can you explain to me this relation between Celeste and Matt? I can't yet. I don't think I have enough evidence yet. I should investigate and gather some more clues before I try again. I'm gonna see if I can do this. I can. Whose story do I want to hear? Dude, it's Mr. Wright! I hope you can get me off the hook tomorrow. I'm counting on you. I hope so too. Edgeworth just dropped a bombshell on me and said that Juan Carita was killed by an assassin, and that assassin's client is this man, Matt Engard. What's wrong? Mr. Engard, there is something I must know with 100% certainty. You do seem kind of different. You're totally not like your usual lawyer dude self. About the press conference. You mean the one where Juan was going to dress up as a Nickel Samurai? Yeah. I heard a little more about it from Miss Andrews. Could you please fill me in on what the secret is, please? I knew this was coming.
Mr. Nick, don't tell me.
A psych-lock. You said a secret, right? But you don't have any idea what it is, do you, dude? Did you know about Mr. Carita and Miss Andrews' relationship? Well, it's all over the tabloids, dude. But I don't know any of the details if that's what you mean. Look, how many times do I have to tell you, I don't care what Juan did with his life. Miss Andrews, she had a purpose in mind when she started seeing Mr. Carita. Her mentor was Mr. Carita's manager, and Miss Andrews was going to get Miss Celeste Impact's suicide note from him. Celeste? Does that jog any memories? Dude, I suddenly just got totally hungry. You up for pizza? My treat.
Mr. Nick, what's a pizza? Is it a kind of pea like green peas?
Let's go eat one later, okay? I got cut off by the pizza dude at the shop. That's too bad. Well, how about we get our minds off this topic and talk about something else, okay? Mr. On guard. Are you connected to Miss Impax's suicide in some way? Mr. On guard? Dude, I know I asked you to be my lawyer and all, but I don't think I have to tell you anything and everything. What do you mean by that? It just means I don't have to tell you anything and everything, dude. About this person. He's
your butler, Mr. Doe, right? We met him at your mansion.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He's a pretty cool dude who can do lots of things. He takes real good care of me. He's totally not interested in this. I'm kinda scared to show him this card. What's wrong, dude? Oh, so about this picture card. Have you ever seen this before? Huh? No, I've never seen it before in my life, dude. I don't think he's lying. Or is he? Then again, he looked like he gasped just now. Maybe I'm seeing things? Huh? Let's see how this one goes. Now, let's hear what the secret of yours is. What if Mr. Kurita had been successful in his plan? What would he have discussed? I told you before, dude, I don't know. I don't know anything about Juan, okay? Look, Mr. Wright, I can keep on saying it until I'm blue in the face, but I totally didn't pay Juan any attention the entire time that night. I mean, come on. I was in the middle of a nap. Don't lie to me. Huh? I know you paid close attention to Mr. Kurita, especially on that night. Actually, I cannot tell him. I don't think I have enough evidence yet. I should investigate and gather some more clues before I try again. Let's go back to the Criminal Affairs Department. Oh, Mr. Wright, please, you have to help me. Mr. Wright, you have to help me! Oh, it's you! Mr. Wright, you have to help me! Something around there. Mr. Powers!
What happened? Why are you here?
You see, I got roped into this somehow.
What?
And now I'm gonna testify tomorrow's trial. So the decisive witness is Mr. Powers. I was talking with a detective until just a little while ago when I was on my way home. When all of a sudden, you're under arrest, and I was brought back here. Oh. Is that my face and whole self in general look suspicious or something? Oh, he was profiled. Please do that. Well, I guess I can see how they thought you looked suspicious. I mean, you're wearing a really bad suit. I'm just a normal guy in an exercise shop for kids. Is that a crime? So, about this testimony you're giving, what are you going to talk about? I really don't know yet. But it sounds like I saw something pretty important for what they told me. You saw something important? What was it? Well, the detective told me not to talk about it. You can't tell anyone, and especially not that lawyer, he said.
Who do you think is that lawyer the detective was talking about?
I'm gonna take a wild guess and say it's me. Yeah, you got it.
Mr. Nick! Mystic Maya and myself are your two only allies in this world, but it's alright.
Ow, I really don't have a lot of friends, do I? This is gonna do a lot of damage to Matt, you know? Because he's got the refreshing like a spring breeze image going around. But what is he really like? Well, let's see. Matt's always been kind of a player with women. He would never really turn a pretty face away, if you know what I mean. He'd always say it's just a game to justify himself.
What? How horrible! That's unforgivable!
Oh, sorry, didn't mean to offend you. But you know, he said once that there's only one person in the world who won't swoon over me. One person who wouldn't swoon over him? His manager, you know, Miss Adrian Andrews. Why is Mr. Powers suddenly looking kind of energetic? So you see, I'm actually a sucker for gossip. I mean, celebrities in their world have this dazzling sort of image, right? A dazzling sort of image? But aren't you part of that dazzle, Mr. Powers? No, I'm more of a hairy, sweaty, smelly, brutish kind of guy, you see. It's okay, really. I get to hear plenty of gossip about a lot of the other stars around me as things happen. Well, that's true. Oh, hey, so did you hear about this yet? About Miss Andrews' mentor and her suicide? You mean Miss Impacts?
We heard something about how her wedding was cancelled.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I thought about it a little the other day, about a mysterious death. Hey, Mr. Wright, why don't you ask me something about that? Go on ahead. Mr. Powers is so charged up his skin is practically glowing with electricity. Hey, so, have you heard this? Celeste left a suicide note. And they say that Juan went and hid it. We heard about that in court today. But there wasn't any actual proof that she had left a note. Well, this is what I think. I think that something bad was written on the note. Something bad for Juan, that is.
Something bad for Mr. Kurita?
Why do you figure so? Well, before she died, Celeste talked with a few of her friends. And she said, it looks like I may have been caught by an insidious man. An insidious man? Did she mean Mr. Kurita by that? Well, there's no one else that fits the bill, right? And that'd be reason enough for him to hide the suicide note. I see. Well, that's some good info, thank you. You're welcome. Mr. Ungard and Miss Andrews, they're both at the detention center right now. There are still things I don't understand or know about, I'm sure. I have to get the two of them to tell me everything.
Ah! Mr. Nick, your phone!
Hey, that's the Still Samurai theme song, isn't it? I don't like the sound of this ringtone right now. It sounds kind of ominous. Yeah, I know what you mean. Hello?
We're in trouble now, Cal. I'll be back in the office real soon.
What's wrong?
Something really unexpected just happened. Mr. Edgeworth,
Edgeworth?
Anyway, hurry up and get back to the office, Cal. I don't know what's going on anymore. It's no good. The end,
Hello? He got cut off.
What's going on, Mr. Nick?
Gumshoe said we need to go back to the office right away.
Then we should hurry back.
I'm scared to go back.
What are you talking about, Mr. Nick? Pull yourself together!
Maybe it'll be good news. Somehow, I really doubt that. Hey, pal. Mr. Edgeworth's already back. Well, what happened? We got him. We know who bought that spy camera.
Huh?
This quickly? And the bear's what gave it away, pal. The bear? I figured it out, pal. I figured we should have been looking into the bear instead of the camera.
Wasn't that Mr. Edgeworth that figured?
Shh, Pearls. And, go on. There's only one person who bought one of those bears that's related to the crime.
Who is it? Who would be so rude as to spy on another person in their room?
Madame Guard.
Huh?
Madame Guard. You're quiet, and that's who, pal. And here I thought things couldn't get any worse. Are you sure you heard that right? That the person who bought this bear was... I heard it from the department store clerk, pal. This is the credit card receipt for the purchase. It's for $3,800, pal. That's an exact match to the price of the stuffed bear. A receipt? That's all you have? Nah, it's not just a receipt, pal. The store clerk said so himself. He told me, I'm sure I sold the bear to Mr. Engard. I mean, the clerk even got Mr. Engard's autograph out of it, pal. So I'm sure the person that bought the stuffed bear was Mr. Engard himself. My sight is failing me. This can't be. So what about the spy camera we found? That was a dead end, pal. I mean, you can get this kind of thing from anywhere. But for now, I guess I can give these back to you to file away into evidence. What's that? Well, now you don't want to give up, pal. I never thought... I didn't actually think it was possible. The person who put up the spy camera in Margarita's room was Madame Guard.
Why would Mr. Engard do something like this?
I'll bet it was to catch Miss Andrews and Mr. Carita in one of their rendezvous. I bet it's not good enough for me. I have to know the absolute truth behind this camera. You gonna see him? Mr. Engard, I mean? Yes.
I'm scared, Mr. Nick. I wonder what we'll find out next.
I'm scared myself. I have to put on a good face for Pearls. Matt Engard, what in the world have you done? You're working really late, you know. It's already past 10 PM, dude. He's right, you know. I think it's time you told me the truth. Relax. Don't you know that ignorance is bliss? But if you really want to know, let's talk. Important. Now, let's hear what this secret of yours is. What if Mr. Carita had been successful in his plan? What would he have disclosed? I told you before, dude, I don't know. I don't know anything about Horn, okay? Look, Mr. Wright, I could keep saying it until I'm blue in the face, but I totally didn't pay Horn any attention the whole time that night. I mean, come on! I was in the middle of a nap. Don't lie to me. Huh? I know you paid close attention to Mr. Carita, especially on that night. Someone used this camera to secretly film Mr. Carita's room the night of the murder. Secretly film? What? And then sent the images the camera took with this transmitter. Wow, but dude, where was this camera you're talking about hidden? The spy camera was hidden in this bear's eye. A bear that was supposed to be a present from a fan? A bear that was supposed to be a present from a fan! I'm sorry, I got really confused by a smile. I guess one had a few of those kinds of fans too, huh, dude? Actually, I wouldn't say this bear was a present from a fan. You sure, dude? Who else could it be from? The person who gave this bear to Mr. Carita was... Mr. Engard, don't you know this bear from somewhere? I don't think I've ever met Mr. Bear before, dude. Aw, but he says he knows you. How could you forget such a great friend? What else did the bear tell you? He says that the one who put the camera in his eye was you, Mr. Engard. If I didn't know how you work in court, I'd think I was in some serious trouble. Come on, this is all just a joke, right, dude? You're just pulling my leg. Looks like you're not ready to give up your secret yet. Well, do you have any proof you want to show me first? Here is proof that it was you who put the camera inside the bear. I have it here. 1 credit card receipt, Mr. Engard. It's from when you bought that stuffed bear. Dude, all you can tell from this is that I spent $3,800. I go to that department store all the time, okay? This $3,800, this could be the toothbrush I bought that one time. A $3,800 toothbrush? It's ivory and it's got an elephant hair for bristles. Ew, elephant hair. Is that what rich people use nowadays? Anyway, the store clerk clearly remembers you and your purchase. After all, you even gave him an autograph, did you not? Dude, you should have said that earlier. So can I ask you one thing? Yes? You're my lawyer, right, dude? So if you are, then why are you looking into stuff like that? Because if I don't know the truth, I can't help you. Sounds more like stupid law talk to me. Hey, let's stop talking about this, okay? No, not yet. I haven't asked why you set up the camera yet. And what your secret is. Of course, it would be strictly confidential. So, what are you gonna do now? I'm gonna find out what I want to know, because I must. The reason you hid this camera in Mr. Kurita's room and filmed it in secret is... the murder? Shit. I don't think that was the thing he wanted me to say. Mr. Engard? Dude, how about you take that bear home with you and talk to it? I'm sure Mr. Bear will talk with you about as much as I will, which is not at all. I have to somehow get it through his head. I'm not giving up. So is it time to throw in the towel yet, dude? Sorry, but no. I'm gonna find out what I want to know, because I must. What is this card? Maybe he doesn't know about this card. This is a certain man's calling card. The man's name is Shelly De Killer, and I'm sure you know of him, don't you? Shelly De Killer? That's ridiculous. Why would I know some shady scumbag like him? If you really don't know him, then why are you acting so jumpy all of a sudden? This is it. I'm finally starting to get to the truth. I can't afford to make any more mistakes now. Mr. Mountain Guard, I know why you know Mr. De Killer. It's because... since you're the one who set up that camera, that means you knew. You knew exactly what was going to happen in that room. So, how? How would you know something like that? It's because you're his client. That's why. You hired Shelly De Killer to assassinate Mr. Juan Carita. The real mastermind behind this whole murder is... you, Matt Ungard. And here I was, trying to be a good boy for you, dude. I thought if you didn't know, you'd be able to do your job without feeling bad. Well, that's what I thought, anyway. Mr. Ungard, you really did hire? Hold on a sec. I'm gonna consult myself, okay? Consult myself? Well, I guess it's probably about time anyway. About time for what? I think it's time for you to meet him now, Mr. Lawyer Dude. How do you do, Mr. Lawyer? I'm Matt and Guard. Well done, Mr. Wright. I bet it wasn't easy to gather as much information as you have. You really... So... You were Shelly De Killer's client? You don't really think I would dirty my own hands in this, do you?
What do you mean?
And that woman, Adrian, was quite brave herself. Trying to stick the crime on me, I didn't think she had it in her. But all I care about is that one is dead. Isn't that right, Mr. Lawyer?
That's... You're lying! What a terrible...
It's way past your bedtime, little girl. Go on and let us grown-ups talk about more adult things.
But why? Why did you hide the video camera and...
A weakling soon believes the words of others. Just like that pathetic Adrian. He knew about Miss Andrews' secret. But I'm no weakling. I don't believe anyone. Least of all assassins. What? Oh, come now, Mr. Wright. Assassins aren't above blackmail. They turn their clients into cash cows by holding the sinful deed over their heads. And a superstar like me? How much do you think I'm worth? Care to guess?
And that's why?
Yeah, that's where the video comes in. It's got his face and the crime scene recorded on it preserved for all time. With that, I can keep him at bay and even blackmail him if I want. That's right, that video is my insurance. Isn't that what they call it, Mr. Wright?
Why would you do something so wrong?
Because I'm a grown-up and I can. Good enough an answer for you, little girl.
Why? Why would you kill Mr. Kurita?
Because he was about to sling so much dung onto my beautiful public image. Scandals are a little annoying, aren't they? This is all because of that press conference, isn't it?
If Mr. Kurita had been able to give it, then Mr. Engard's secret would have...
Oh, well, that's what we call taking advantage of the situation, you know? I had no interest in doing it, really, but bit by bit it crept up on me. And then the situation just presented itself perfectly. How beautiful, I thought.
And that's how Mr. Kurita ended up dead.
Let me tell you something. I'm not like Adrian. I don't depend on anyone. People are simply things to be used. Used and thrown away. Put on a sweet, innocent face, and people will swallow anything you feed them. Adrian fell for it. The assassin too. Oh, and how can I forget? Even you fell for it, Mr. Lawyer. Everyone. All working their butts off for me, Matt and Guard. Ah, did that leave you speechless? What a shame. What's wrong, Mr. Lawyer? You've grown awfully quiet. How could I have been so deceived by you all this time? When we first met, I asked if you had killed Juan Kurita, and you answered very clearly that you hadn't killed anyone. I know, I never told you any lies. The person who did the killing was that De Killer guy, right? All I'm guilty of is taking a catnap in my room. You killed Mr. Kurita! I dare you to say that in court tomorrow. Aw, but too bad, you can't. You're my lawyer after all, aren't you? You could always drop my case and refuse to represent me. How does that sound? Aw, but you can't, can you? That would be the one thing you absolutely can't do.
Mystic Maya!
You wouldn't want to test De Killer. He's a man of his word, or so I hear. You could end up getting a certain friend of yours rubbed out if you lose. You scoundrel! So if I were you, Mr. Wright, Esquire, I think I would give it my all tomorrow. Remember, everyone likes a happy win-win resolution. I'll get you for this! That's such a cliche phrase. Quan said something just like that if memory serves. Of course, well, we all know how well things turned out for him, don't we? Good night, Mr. Lawyer. Hiya. Hey, what am I supposed to do? And now you finally found it. The starting line of this case. Edgeworth? I don't care for the horrid atmosphere here. Let's return to the precinct. I don't know when the music restarts there, but there we go. Probably because it's change of scenery. I don't know. Well, Wright, what are you going to do? If you plan on changing your defense.
No! We can't do that.
That's right. He's holding Maya hostage. What should I do? That's not something I can answer for you.
Mr. Edgeworth.
Right. Only you can decide where to go from here on out. 1 year ago, at that time, I didn't truly understand what a prosecutor was, and that is why I had to leave the prosecutor's office. I felt that I couldn't stand in a court of law until I knew what a prosecutor really was. And now, Wright, it's your turn. My turn? Why? What is this thing called a lawyer? What can you do as one? You must find the answer, and you must find it on your own. I'm a lawyer, but to fight for someone who is clearly a killer. Matt and Guard, that man is really... Ugh! It doesn't matter who, every person deserves a proper defense and a fair trial. Isn't that the basis of our judicial system? Proper defense? But what exactly is that? Is it where a lawyer forcibly and blindly gets an acquittal through shouting and trickery? Ironic that you, of all people, would say such a thing. Isn't that exactly how you have fought for your clients up until now? Well, that may be true, but that's because I believe my clients to be innocent from the bottom of my heart. But if I were to get on guard and acquittal, that isn't a proper defense at all. I became a lawyer because I thought I could save people who were suffering and in pain. But when I look at this mess we're in, I can't even protect the person closest to me. Even if I win the case, I still lose in the end. I just don't know what to do. Right. Would you get a hold of yourself? You have it all wrong. Huh? We aren't some sort of heroes. We're only human, you and I. You want to save someone? That's something easier said than done, wouldn't you say?
So that's...
You are a defense lawyer. You can't run away from that. You can only fight. That's all you can do. People like you and Franziska von Karma are always using all you have to pin me down. You fight to the very end, even when you know the truth is not with you. But I'm not like you. I can't fight for a false verdict, for a man I clearly know to be guilty. Franziska, she fights for herself. The only thing she fights for is her perfect win record. That's all. And? Isn't that the same with you? Isn't that why you ran away a year ago? Because your precious win record was destroyed? You are so petty. I see. Now I understand why you despise me so. However, you're mistaken. What are you... Thanks to you, when you sealed off my path to a perfect win record, I began to realize the error of my ways. I realized that things such as a perfect win record were meaningless.
Huh?
I don't believe you. Are you saying that is why you left the office? But then, why? Why are you here now? The answer to that is something you will find out on your own. I have faith you will see it before the verdict is read tomorrow. But if you can't, then you will be powerless to change the ending of the story.
Mr. Nick, the transceiver!
I'm sorry for what happened earlier. Warren, Mr. Attorney, do you wager you can obtain an acquittal tomorrow? Why, what is the matter, Mr. Attorney? I don't sense your usual anger this time.
Tell me, please. Why are you holding Maya hostage for Mr. Engard's sake? Why are you doing this for that cold-blooded killer? Right.
Please don't misunderstand things. He is my client.
Don't toy with me. A man who hires an assassin is just as much of a killer himself.
I believe you are asking me for a reason as to why I am doing what I am.
Yeah.
This is what I like to call my aftercare.
What the heck is aftercare?
My name carries a certain amount of honor and dignity, Mr. Attorney. I take great care to ensure that no suspicion falls upon my clients for my handiwork. That is what is called client relations, and it is a part of an assassin's duty.
An assassin's duty?
We were unlucky this time, and my client was arrested as a suspect. As a result, I did what I had to do to enlist your expert help, Mr. Attorney. And to ensure that you would do everything in your power to the very end.
What is your name?
I believe I told you once before, however.
You did, but...
My name is De Killer. Shelly De Killer.
You're Shelly De Killer?
Please keep in mind you do not have much space to maneuver with me. As a killer, I always finish what I set out to do. If you fail to keep up your end of the bargain,
Maya!
it would be my duty as an assassin to see to it she receives a nice long nap.
No!
Now then, if you'll excuse me, if someone were to trace the signal back to me, it'd be quite troublesome.
Mystic Maya! Mystic Maya!
I don't know what to say. Edgeworth. Did you hear that? At the end of that transmission? Huh? All that? It sounded like a cat.
A cat?
It can't be. That cat... Can it?
What is it?
I think I know where Shelly De Killer is holding Maya hostage. Edgeworth, have all police units head for the Young Guard mansion immediately. All right. You hurry over as well, then. Don't lose hope yet, Pearls. The fight has only just begun.
Yeah!
Did I have to go by the hotel lobby and then I had to go by the... Yeah. That's what I had to do. Maya!
Please answer us, Mystic Maya!
We have this area completely surrounded. There is no way for him to escape. Assuming he's still in the area. I can't believe it. That butler. All this time, he was the killer. He and On Guard were working together this whole time. I'm sure they had worked out a contingency plan ahead of time.
Oh, it's the figurine of a bear. But there are a lot of cuts in it for some reason.
A bear? Isn't that more of a thing for Mr. Kurita? Why would something like this be here? Right, look down. There's a little pet door installed here.
Ah, I'm sure that's for Shu.
Do you think that this came through that little door? This door, it's locked. Well, I'm pretty used to breaking down doors by now. Let's go, Edgeworth. There's no one here. From the looks of this room, I would say this is Unguard's private lounge. Look at this, Wright. An antenna for sending and receiving radio signals and a VCR. Check inside the deck. If there's a tape, it'd be an important piece of evidence. If we're lucky, it'll have the moment the crime was committed recorded on it. I'm sorry, but the tape deck is empty. There's no tape to be found.
No.
But there's no mistake that someone used this to record something. It looks like someone took the tape we're looking for and escaped with it. We've searched all over, but it looks like he got away. I'm sorry. It looks like he slipped out of our grasp this time. Now, we've lost our only lead. Don't give up yet. That little girl is looking to you to be her pillar. Yeah, you're right. We're close, I can tell. We've already set up checkpoints along every route leading out of this district. Leave the rest to us. Maya. This looks like a picture of Miss Impax. With love, Celeste.
Miss Impax, you mean?
Yeah. Mr. Kurita's former manager.
Why would a picture of Miss Impax be here in Mr. Unguard's mansion?
And why does it say with love? This might be a clue. What's wrong, Pearls?
Please let me see that picture frame.
Huh? What's so special about the frame?
On the back. There's something written on the back of the frame. Maya. It's Mystic Maya. She left us a message.
What? I thought you'd come. I knew you would. Now listen up. You better get Unguard a guilty sentence, okay? If you get that creepy slime bag and not guilty, I'll never forgive you, ever. I'm fine, so you don't need to worry. There's so much I want to write, but I don't think I have a lot of time left. Pearly, you're there too, right? Make sure you help Nick, okay? Someone's gonna watch out for the helpless lunk. That's it for now, Nick. I guess I'll talk to you guys later.
No! Mystic Maya!
Right! What's wrong? Why the blank stare? Oh, nothing. We've searched the house and this is the last room. It looks like he eluded us. Edgeworth. Yes? As far as clues go, I think this is about all I'm gonna get. But I'm still short one last thing. And what is that? Miss Andrews' psych lock. If I could just find out what secret she's holding, then I think I stand a chance in court tomorrow. To blow this case wide open and expose the truth. I think I know what you're thinking. I'll contact the detention center. Thank you, Edgeworth. Well, let's go, Pearls. It's time to open that last lock. Good evening, Mr. Wright. What's wrong? You look ill. Miss Andrews, I've come to remove your psych lock. What? Psych lock? I want to know, and you will tell me, your secret. Fine, go ahead. Try to break me if you can. Can you please tell me why you framed Mr. Engard for the murder? Hang on, that went really funny then. I just flicked through a few lines by accident. Wow, thank you, thank you. That broke me out of the drama then, I'm sorry, that's broken everybody else out of the drama. Kevin, are you broken out of the drama? I'm broken out of the drama. I know you said something earlier. You said revenge. So you're saying I was taking my revenge out on Matt and that's why? What an absurd idea. I don't have anything I want to take revenge for. Miss Andrews, a woman who lives by being dependent on another person. There is something or someone in her past that would make her take revenge. We've already been through this, actually. Let's go for this. Review time. You can cut that out, Kevin. You can definitely cut that out, Kevin. The major catalyst in Andrew's life is Celeste Impacts. However, Matt and God has nothing to do with Celeste Impacts, right? You're right. You haven't mentioned him yet. But for you to hate Mr. Engard, it would mean they had some relation, right? Can you explain this relation between Celeste and Matt? This is a photo of Miss Impacts, correct? She looks younger than when she passed away, though. What? With love, Celeste. This is Miss Impacts' handwriting, right? Where did you find this? No, that's alright, it was a rhetorical question. Yeah, it is. I found this at Mr. Engard's mansion. And after all this time, my last remaining secret has been revealed. Celeste, she was supposed to get married to Juan. Yeah, but I heard that it didn't work out.
Because Mr. Kurita didn't want to get married to her anymore, right?
Yeah, because of Matt.
Because of Mr. Engard? What do you mean?
I think I can see where this is going. Celeste, she was Matt's manager a long time ago. She was the happiest woman in the world at that time. I was working part-time back then, and I often saw the two of them together. So that's why, with love, Celeste is written on the frame of the picture.
They were a couple, weren't they?
It wasn't anything as splendid as that. Celeste was being used. Toyed with until she was thrown away.
That's so horrible.
Matt's entire image is built around how nice and wonderful of a man he is. A scandal would have destroyed that. Which is why Celeste, in her kindness, moved over to Worldwide Studios. And that is where she met Juan. She seemed really happy with him. Even happier than when she was with Matt. Celeste and Juan was such a good match that they even planned to get married. And then, it was suddenly called off. On the night, Juan called their marriage off. Celeste, she killed herself. And that's why I framed Matt. It was revenge for Celeste and for myself. I'm sure even you can guess why Juan called the wedding off, right? Matt confessed to Juan about his relationship with Celeste. I see, so that's what happened.
But then why did Mr. Kurita have to call it the wedding? I don't understand at all.
It was probably because of his worthless male pride. Juan and Matt were always fierce rivals. Matt waited for the wedding announcement and then unleashed the truth on Juan. He was aiming for when it would hurt Juan the most.
Poor Miss Impax.
That wasn't the end of it. That day, I'm almost certain that Celeste left a suicide note behind. And in that note, she left a detailed account of Matt's various misdeeds, and so that she would never again be hurt by Matt, she chose to die. Then, when Juan discovered her body, he hid her note.
But why would he do that?
It's simple. Juan realized that note was a powerful weapon against Matt, and it would be especially damaging to his refreshing like a spring breeze image. In any case, with his pride hurt, Juan sought revenge. Revenge. There's that word again. Juan wanted to publicly disclose the contents of that suicide note. At a time that would cause Matt the most damage, of course. And that was at the press conference after the stage show. I know all about it because I heard it from Juan. It was so I could find out about all this that I drew close to Juan to begin with. They're quite a pair of hideous monsters, aren't they? Even Celeste's death was something for them to use in their game. That night, when they found Juan's body, it was only natural that they thought the murderer was Matt. Those two were always spying on one another after all. As for me, I was frantically searching for Celeste's suicide note. I wanted to destroy it before it ever went public. I was going to burn it. I'd even brought a lighter. But I couldn't find the suicide note, and that's when revenge crossed my mind. Yes, I was going to bring to them my own kind of cruel revenge. Celeste was killed by those two monsters. So when I stabbed Juan's body with that knife, I didn't feel a single shred of guilt. And that's all I have to say. Well, Mr. Wright, even knowing all this, are you still going to help that man? I'm a lawyer. I see. What a foul profession. Thank you very much for your time and for talking with me. It was no big deal. I couldn't sleep anyway. I can't sleep either. Not with my situation, or with what I know now.